viewers, if you've enjoyed the first episode of Unravelled, yes, it's me and Lizzie talking about getting excited about what's to come with the new game of wool. And we thought this session, to get ourselves excited, we would talk about the whole audition process. Because I did audition for it. And as we all know, because we've watched Lizzie, you auditioned for the Sewing Bee, didn't you? And you got on. So
yeah, I did.
It would be something to talk about.
Quite a thing.
How did you find out about the audition in the first place? You obviously watched the Sewing Bee. Did you think about it before or apply before? How did that come about from your point of view?
I have always loved watching Sewing Bee. And I've always muttered under my breath, stupid idea going on the telly like that to sew against the clock. It's stupid because I've always really cherished very slow sewing. And so it was a complete accident, whim, I think. I just, it was one year and the broadcast was looking a little bit later.
Okay.
And I was just really wanted to know when it was coming on again. So I was Googling next series of Sewing Bee, and this page popped up and it just said, apply for the next series. I thought, oh, they must have just forgotten to take that page down or something because it's coming out. The next series is coming out any day now. So, but curiosity, I just clicked on the link to see what it would entail, because I just thought, what on earth do you need to prove to get on the show? And it was, for me, it was the application form. They had some really good questions on there that I'd never thought about, like, who taught you to sew? Well, of course, I went off on a massive essay about my mum. Who are your inspirations? And that made me think about it in a way I'd never really thought about it. That was just, it was lovely, and I really enjoyed that. And at the end of writing all those flipping essays, I thought, I may as well send the blooming thing in. So it was completely unpremeditated. And I just really enjoyed that in itself. And I took some pictures of things I'd made, like this. This is a Lizzie me-made design.
Oh, cool.
And it was really nice to just sort of sum up where I was in my own sewing.
Yeah. So
next thing I know, I'm getting.
So from your point of view, it was almost a nice little therapy session, just writing that application form. You got something out of it, and then probably didn't think anything of it because it was so on the whim, like that, unplanned for.
It was complete whim for me. And I've been thinking about it quite a lot because the series has just been on, and I've just been thinking, honestly, I do not know what I was doing. You see, I will always say yes to a creative adventure, so that I find it very difficult to, not jump at opportunities like that. And it's because it's a voyage of discovery. So from the point of view of being an absolutely amazing journey to discover what I'm capable of, it was amazing. I mean, it was, and I wouldn't be, I've got I'm now working on my sewing patterns, so I'm doing so much now because of having been on the bee. And at the time I felt really at sea, and I felt like I was really slow, which is probably I wasn't as bad as I was my own worst enemy in a way. But now it's just opened the door to so much new potential. So I am really glad I did it. I did find it enormously stressful though. Like you say, the sense of it being meant to be, I really tried to just take each step at a time and just think from this little stage, whether it's a phone call with a producer or whether they do these various, I don't know if you had this for yours, but they do these various levels of sort of Zoom screen tests before they whittle it down, and you'll get other people phoning you up. And it's almost like they're just checking that you are that person that wrote those answers, and there was probably, I'm going to say there's probably about 4 rounds of that for me before being invited to do the in-person audition. And then even after the in-person audition, I remember walking away from that. I was up in Leeds at Sunnybank Mills where they filmed the series. I remember walking away from that session just in like a bit numb and in a bit of a daze. I just don't know what's happening here. I just need to go and lie down.
I can certainly agree with that from my experience. But well, we're glad you did, because you came across and we got to know you from our screens, and then look at what you're doing now. So we do
Yeah,
try and say this, don't we, every time we watch The Bee, that actually we are thankful that these people have put themselves through this process to be on national telly, because it is hard when we're all talking about it and going, oh, why did you do that?
I
We love
know.
him and we love
I
her, and oh, well, that
know.
was a bit, and then they get a grilling from us viewers. But without them, we wouldn't have this amazing show. So
It's
we're
lovely,
glad you
lovely
did.
telly. And
Yes.
you do get invested in the characters as
Yeah.
well, don't you? And
And
yeah.
and that's what we'll hope for the game of wool.
Yes.
And that audition. And the audition process was very similar. I think it maybe wasn't as lengthy, but maybe that's because it's the first season. So
So what did you have to do? What was your
well, the first
kind
thing
of
I did is I saw the application form, and they were actually very vocal at advertising that. They were on Instagram, and it was being shared everywhere, and it was
yeah.
on sort of advertised. Channel 4 had done a press release, so then it was being on. These Facebook groups were picking it up, so it was very easy to see about this application form. And I saw it, and of course, as a wool shop owner and doing Unpicked with Ting and
Yeah.
doing Sewing Bee over 9 years, I was like, oh, this is great. This is good. This is going to be brilliant. This is going to be excellent for getting new people into the world of wool, talking knitting and crochet. And I
Yeah.
didn't think about doing it as a contestant. I just thought it would be great for the channel and for my shop and for business. Um, and then, so I didn't apply. I just saw the adverts and was getting excited. Excuse me.
Oh, I see. So you thought the show itself would just be
Indeed. Yeah.
you didn't consider
No,
applying.
no, no. And I
Oh,
think that's because, with regard to the Sewing Bee, they always said um, amateur, it's non-professional. And I
yes,
just assumed that
exactly.
because I run a shop, I'm in the sewing and knitting world. I just never applied for the Sewing Bee because I thought, well, I'm a professional from that point of view. So I never went. I thought they wouldn't accept me. So I kind of did the same with the game of wool. I just thought it will be great for the shop. It will be great for people coming in, buying wool, and drumming up business, and for the channel for another content. Sometimes we're thinking, what can I put out
Yeah.
next content wise?
Yeah.
But I just thought, knowing how popular Unpicked was, then we could do another show, a companion show for the game of wool. But then I was approached on Instagram. Now, that's nothing special. That's nothing special because Love Island do that, don't they? They trawl Instagram for
Yeah.
certain people because you can search hashtags. You can almost search demographic hashtags, can't you, on certain tastes and likes. So you can find people. So they sent a message on
Yes.
Instagram and said, have you thought about applying for Game of Wool? You'd be ideal. And of course, there is something about getting a personal message, even though you know they're casting agencies and they're just trawling people. But you've got a message, and that kind of boosts your ego a little bit, doesn't
Yeah,
it? And
definitely.
I then just replied back. I thought, well, I'll just say. I said, well, thank you for the message, but I actually run a business, a wool shop. I think that might be a little bit unfair if I were to apply. And they got back and said, oh, no, 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 it's not against the rules. With that, I
Oh,
thought, well, do you know what? I might as well apply. And two reasons. I thought, first of all, it will be fun because I do the unpicked shows. People have always said, why don't you go on? It's like, well, now's my chance to actually,
yeah.
put my money where my mouth is and go for it. And then the second one I was just blatant. I thought I can promote local yarn shops. That would be my
Yes.
role. I'd be on there, and I wouldn't necessarily be talking about my business, but I would be talking about, if Tom comes up to me and chats to me, I'd be talking shops. I'd be talking, come and support them, spend your money. So I filled the form in, and as you say, they're quite lengthy forms. I then explained about my shop and my Knit and Natter ladies.
Yeah.
Those groups in my shop underpin the ethos of my shop, and you come into my shop, and the Knit and Natters out the back but it's still joined. So if you wanted to, you could go up into the back area and go, oh, what are you doing? Or the knitter
Yeah.
natterers could go, oh, what lovely yarn are you looking at? So
Come out, have a little chat.
indeed, you can combine and chat and integrate, or you can just say separate if you want. But the amount of times
Yeah.
people do come up and go, oh, what are you doing? Can I have a look? And then you get these lovely conversations and then a sharing of skills and everything. It's lovely. So I talked about them, and I then thought nothing of it. And we're talking about it was just the audition was just before Christmas, so this is mid-November, coming up to their audition deadline. So it was really, really last minute from the actual audition point of view, because I thought, well, I'll just go for it. I didn't think anything of it until I then got a reply on email saying, oh, thank you for your entry. Would like to take it further and have a phone conversation.
It's exactly the same. It's funny when you get that email and you just think, oh my word, it's real. Somebody saw it.
Because I'd only just done the application like a week before, I was like, oh my word. But I love a telephone chat. Of course, I just talked and talked and talked. They said, oh, we'll let you know by email. And a couple of days later, I then got the message to say I'd been invited to audition.
So they didn't keep you waiting?
No.
You can't help but get excited.
No, of course not. You do get excited, and it's lovely because, of course, we all still deep down, we're on telly. I could be on telly. There is something to be said about that. No matter how cool you are, it's still exciting to be on TV, isn't it?
Well, it is, except watchers, it's lunacy. Don't do it. So stressful. But no, I mean, my background originally is in telly as well, but from the other side of the camera, doing graphics and design and animation and things. And I also worked as a photographer for quite some time. So I'm really familiar with film shoots and, cameras and that. And I really love that space. So I think I was more excited just to be in that experience just as a whole, because I love it. I love film shoots, production, but actually being a contestant, oh my goodness, it's another level. Isn't it? So tell us about your in-person audition, because there was no messing about. They got you straight in, didn't they?
They sent on email what we were to do. We would go to London, and it was Christmas, so it must have been December the 18th or something like that. It was really close, and they said you've got to bring some wool, some needles, and some garments that you want to show. And this is when you then start overthinking everything. What am I going to take?
Yes.
What garment am I going to show? So I thought, well, I'll wear this. I wore this exact outfit because I thought I can then talk about Colin, who made it for me, and how we make things at the shop. And I took the MCAL of West Knits, of Stephen West, the Go-Go Dynamo, which I just finished that October. This behemoth.
That is some accomplishment. Yeah. Look at it. What an accomplishment.
I'd never done anything like that before, and I was immensely proud of it. So I thought, well, I'll take that. And it was dyed in my lavender and blue yarn. So I thought, well, that's a topic that I could talk about too. So I had that with me. Then you walk in, and then you see everyone else. And then it starts to be a little bit scary, because you're looking at a sea of people. 40 people at this London audition, all doing the same thing. And there are only 10 spaces. And that, for me, I was chuffed a bit. So that, for me, that ticked a box. Yeah. And it was a wonderful day because there were 40 other amazing crafters. And it was wonderful. Even if a little bit hard, but it was wonderful.
What was the atmosphere like between each other? Were you all sort of excited together, or was this a bit like people were keeping themselves sort of behind a bit? Or
I think everyone was different, but I think in general it was a positive atmosphere. And the morning was spent just knitting. And then what was going to
That's
happen?
it.
That was it. And then they were going to take people off, all 40, and do a screen test. I have no idea what they asked me because I went all a bit of a haze. After coming back, I'm there knitting, and that's all it is. You're knitting for the rest of the morning.
Yeah.
I have to say my table was lovely, and I'm sure everyone else is saying their table was lovely. But we did relax, and we did chat, and we did get to know each other, and we swapped Instagram handles with everyone. So we were following everyone throughout the morning. But I have to say, Lizzie, sitting there knitting for about 4 hours and then having your lunch, I have never knitted so much because they wanted to watch us knit as well. So while they took everyone off, we're just sat there knitting, and then some of the producers are going round watching us knit and probably taking notes. We have to remember they're still putting on a TV show, so they don't actually want 6 very nice people who are just, oh yeah, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, and that's it. They probably are looking out for the ones, as you say, who might make people laugh, who might be standing up and being there's so many things they're looking for, aren't they? We can't possibly tell. It's a balance of looking good, having the story, having the potential. Could they make good TV too? Knowing what your plot structure is. So if there's teamwork based, do you want 3 or 4 very powerful individuals that might get a bit of power conflict, because it makes good telly to edit after all. So it must be a huge job, but it was lovely. But those first 4 or 5 hours, we haven't even got to the test yet. So we had lunch as we're knitting. I might knit maybe an hour of an evening, but I don't knit an hour every night. So by 1 o'clock, I'm like, I'm officially pooped with all this knitting.
Need some, get you.
I know. But then here comes the challenge, right? We had to have, and I'll go to the desk cam here. We had to have super chunky yarn.
Ooh.
And some really thick needles, size 9 or 10. Because
got
we
your
were
symphonies there, Stuart. I see.
know, beautiful, aren't they? They are.
Do you like a bit of a symphony?
I do. It's Symphony Knit Pro wood, or it's higher metal sharp. I know.
Ooh.
Yeah. But so I went down with these, and we were given the task of casting on and knitting a beanie in 90 minutes.
No, stop it.
Wow.
How far did you get?
I finished.
Well done.
Just by the skin of my teeth. But, Lizzie...
Did you have a pattern?
We had a pattern. They gave us a pattern. Well, the first 20 minutes was a most surreal situation because the chatter just went. Yes. It did. And it was a case of, we're all being serious now. Oh, this is a bit boring though. So I did try to be a bit relaxing, and I rather than sitting at my desk like that, I kind of turned to the side and straddled the picnic table, and I was just being a bit relaxed because I thought I still want to chat. And as I turned round, I then came, I saw another table here, which I hadn't really seen, because you sit at picnic tables and you kind of look at the other side and you forget everyone else. I didn't mingle much in the morning. And then I think I mentioned her briefly in our last session. I turned around and there was this delightful retired lady who was knitting even faster, and she was going blisteringly quick. I was like, oh my god, you're going really quick. And she goes, I've been practicing and because she'd got she wasn't doing it in the round, she was doing it flat, because it didn't say how you could knit it however you like. So she was knitting it flat.
You might be a very clever
she was, because she was preparing. She knew she was preparing for speed. So she had a needle in between her legs, like that, and then boom, boom. So she could a bit like Shetland knitting, where you have it in your belts,
Oh, brilliant!
And so because of that, you could literally go really quick, round down. Yeah. And I was like, wow. And so at that point, I was like, do you know what? I think I'm out of this now, because I know I'm not seriously in it to win. So I'm just going to enjoy the day. So I was a bit more casual, a bit more chatty. But there's still something about that competition when you're looking around
Oh
and you start
gosh, I
seeing people,
know.
oh my God, how are they near the end already? I really
Had there
struggled with that.
was there some serious embellishment going on? Was
Absolutely. Um, so the lovely lady next to me, she'd finished, she'd sewn it up, she'd made a pom-pom, and she was putting embellishment things on the side of her beanie.
Oh my
And other people
word.
were doing that too. And I haven't been in a competitive position like that since school. And it just
No.
brought all those memories back of how it makes you then
Mm.
feel.
Yeah,
Because
just
you then do go, hell, you're bloody brilliant. You're bloody
oh
brilliant. But I did it. I then just kept turning it into positive, going, wow, that's amazing, that's amazing, that's amazing. And I
yeah.
managed to seam mine up, and I had a classic, simple seamed beanie
Good
hat
old beanie.
with
Well
no
done.
embellishments, no pom-pom or anything. We had to then put it in a
No.
bag and hand it in. And then we had about a 10-minute change rest. And then we had to do a crochet challenge. We had to do a granny square. It wasn't a
Yeah.
classic granny square, though. So it wasn't how
Right.
quick can you do, say, 10 rounds. I didn't get to finish the 7th round. I think I was on round 6. We had 40 minutes for the crochet granny square.
Oh
40
gosh.
minutes. And that was literally no time to talk at all. It was boom, down,
No.
because, you're
Yeah.
pulling up yarn over, all these trebles, yarn over.
Serious. Yeah. And you've got to concentrate because you're following a very specific pattern and
Indeed.
it's changing quite a
Yeah.
lot.
So I found that hard. So I didn't finish that. But what's good about that is it told me, for our guessing of Game of Wool, that crochet is definitely going to be appearing, because why
Hmm.
would you test for it? So hopefully, Lizzie,
Yeah.
we're going to be seeing some crochet in the Game
Well,
of Wool.
I'd be very surprised if they don't because it's so massive at the
Yeah,
moment, isn't it?
yeah,
It really is. I mean, every time I'm in the shop at the moment, people come in asking for crochet equipment. But for our reduce, reuse, recycle challenge was the crochet challenge. I don't know if you
yes, I
remember.
do, because I
And
remember.
we had to,
Was it Mia? I can't remember. She did the Chanel style
yes,
crochet, didn't
exactly.
she?
She did the little Chanel
Yeah,
suit.
yeah,
And so basically the brief was upcycle unwanted crochet
that's it.
blankets. And I still take my made to measure when I do the shows, the yarn shows, I take it with me because people like to see it. But it was really big then, and they were saying this is your brief because crochet is going to be everywhere.
Yeah,
And lo and
yeah,
behold, it is everywhere, and it's only getting stronger.
absolutely.
But
Completely
yeah,
agree. And then that was it. We handed them in. We put them into our Polly pockets, and they took them in because they were obviously going to be
yeah,
looking at them and judging them. As I then left, when you leave with everyone, you're all way more chatty and a bit more relaxed, and you're
yes.
all effing and jeffing and like, oh, that was hard, and oh my God, I'm not going to do that. But
The relief.
you then also realise how many amazing people there are. And I've now got an inkling. This is just one audition. This is London. They had was it Manchester, and then a Glasgow audition. So
Oh,
there was 3 sets of auditions. So they've got a lot of people to potentially 100 people to sift through to get
yes,
to a final 10. But from
yes.
my day, I think there are a couple who I think they may be on it.
Yeah.
Because there was one gentleman opposite me who was fabulous. He was really nice.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
he was so skilled. He made tank tops in the finest color work possible. Like,
Oh,
think
wow.
tiny little chevrons and diagonal
Yeah.
triangles, all filled on a 4-ply yarn, in every
Wow.
single triangle a different color. And I thought,
Just
yeah,
beautiful.
but he designed that and he knitted it. And I'm thinking,
Wow.
you're on another level. Yeah, you're not only a
Yeah.
knitter, but you're a designer too. And this is where I think it's
Yeah.
going for a design element, because I didn't. I left and said bye to everyone, and they said they'd let us know by the end of January. Well, come mid-January, I knew I wasn't on, because technically if they're going to let you know by the end of January, they would need to do a callback and a development and a reference check. And I can understand that. They've got to be careful who they're putting on TV, who these people are, their backgrounds and everything. They've got to do proper due diligence in that. But I think there's going to be a lot of originality in what we're going to see in Game of Wool from those hints from that audition day.
Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
But I got a lovely email at the end of January saying, thank you, but no thank you. And please do apply again. But no, I'm not knitting for all that time, 8 hours a day.
Sewing against the clock. There were aspects of it that sort of stretched my horizons about the fun. 90 minutes, go. And I just run around. Or the made to measures. I love doing all the research for those. So there are really great things about it.
We're going to see more and more design stuff on this program. Knitters having to create something, that creativity, which should be exciting to see how these designers make their knitting look cool. What are they going to do? Are they going to put certain techniques in? And that's where I would be rubbish. But great fun, and I met some lovely people, and I still chat with them on Instagram, still follow their work, and I still continue to be mind blown about what they create. Tell me about these pictures that you've given me. Where are they? Well, look at this for a team work here. What's this bunting going on?
My hometown, it's a little seaside town, and there was a big community effort earlier in the year, maybe around June, I think it was. And they just decided that they were going to, as a community, create all this knitted bunting. So the local yarn fabric haberdashery emporium they sponsored it, and I don't know if they were giving away yarn or they were providing lots of supplies anyway. And the pattern for these was shared. It's basically an A3. It's an A3 pattern.
Yeah, like a rectangle.
And they said do garter stitch because they don't like stocking stitch because it curls at the end. And then they said the basic shape was just a rectangle, but you can do the pointed ends like the pennant, and you can embellish it with flowers, or some people put, you can see this sort of little checkerboard designs. It's hilarious. I mean, those little wires that they're strung up on is normally the Christmas lights go up there. But I just came, I can't remember where I've been. I came back into town one day and you can see it's so colourful and funny.
Absolutely.
But I don't know how on earth these have stood through some of the storm rains we've had recently without being really long.
I suppose that goes to show the power of acrylic, because most of it might be acrylic. You can put that through anything.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
I love it. It reminds me of when we had our VE Day celebrations, and I asked people around the world to knit bunting. And we decorated the shop, and we had it all outside, hung up. There is something about going through a village or a town when you have flags up or bunting out. You just feel, something's going on. You just feel it's like a festival, or it just really works. It just adds another layer when you're visiting somewhere, I think, doesn't it? And are they staying up were they up for the next couple of months?
Well, they're still up now. And I mean, I guess at some point they'll be superseded by the
Christmas
seasonal lights. But there's this town, honestly, the yarn bombers are voracious. Is that the right word? They're everywhere. You know those sort of bollards you have on the street, just like little iron bollards.
To denote from the path and the road. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. They are just crazed. They're all covered in all kinds of designs. I'll see if I can get a picture when they start popping up. But honestly, the yarn bombers of Clevedon don't want to get in their way. You'll get bombed if you stand still too long.
I think we are bound to see some sort of yarn bombing in Game of Wool. You've got to. There's got to be one one fun challenge, I'm sure, because you could easily do that with 4 people. That would be the challenge. 4 people in your team
Yes.
design a yarn bomb
A
for
yarn bomb.
this post box topper,
Yeah.
and again, so it ticks the design box. You've got to knit
Yes.
like mad for 8 hours, and then have a finished
All
article.
on different elements.
Indeed, it's right.
Yeah.
And then if your article was judged by the judges as the best, you're safe. So those 4 go through to next week. But those 4, it's not as
Have a
good.
knit off.
Yeah, and then which
That's when
element?
they're knitting their giant beanie.
Yes, yeah, and then you
Yeah.
lose one person. Oh my
Or
word!
back to my extreme challenges, Stuart. So
Oh, go on.
the
Oh
out of the
yes,
losing team,
yeah,
shall I tell you some more ideas? They could
yeah,
do
yeah.
their
Let's finish off with some more. Come on then.
okay, so well, this is in the vein of some of the others I said last time. So whitewater rafting, I think. Oh yeah, don't let's put the caveat. Remind everybody, this is if health and safety were no object.
Yeah.
Whitewater rafting, I thought would be quite fun. So they start getting a little bit more messy, I
Okay.
suppose. One of them, you have to knit. So the challenge was, if you remember from last time, you see how much you can knit in a designated amount of time while being fed spaghetti. Another one could be round and round an automated rotating door, and you're not allowed
Oh,
to let it jam.
oh.
So you have to concentrate on your knitting while you're walking, but you can't bump into anything. That's a bit niche. And then what was that Japanese show? Do you remember was it sort of 80s and it was like extreme challenges and they had ones where they
Running
had to
across things and
and they had
oh
to do things like they had to drink loads of water and then stand in an ice bucket and not go to the loo or
yeah,
something.
I can't remember. I'll have a quick
And I just
Google.
thought on a knitting theme, you could do an extreme challenge of you have to drink 3 cups of tea, and how much can you knit before going to the loo? That's
um,
a bit silly, but
that's what it's all about. Takeshi's Castle. That's it. Can you
what's it
remember it?
called?
Takeshi's Castle. Can you remember that?
Takeshi's Castle. I
Yeah.
don't know. There was another name of it.
Oh,
Maybe
was
our
there?
maybe our viewers can remember. It was like a particular challenge, and it was one
Oh.
of those Friday night silly. Was it? Do you remember? What's his name? Clive James. I'm sure
Yes.
he used to do a
Yeah.
show, and he'd say, "Oh, this week in the whatever Japanese name." Um, they've been doing this, and Clive James would comment on it.
Oh.
I'm sure one of our
You're not thinking
viewers will
of
know.
It's a Knockout.
No, 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 no. We're slightly putting
oh,
that aside these
oh
days, aren't
dear,
we? No,
brilliant.
it'll come to me.
Oh, well,
Uh,
what a chat. So it's safe to say I'm not on this season of Game of Wool, but I loved every minute of it. And as I say, many friends I've got on Instagram now, and I marvel at their work. And if they're on it, I can quite understand why, because of their
yeah,
knitting and their design skills.
yeah.
And I can't wait for it to start. Are you doing the West Knit along for October? Are you a fan of
No,
that type of
I'm
knitting?
I'm not. Well, I'm not doing the knit along, and I'm not really. I don't go for lots of that sort of color work.
No.
I've just been trying to consolidate things because I've been knitting so many different things, and I'm a bit overwhelmed by my list. But yeah, I've got lots on the wish list. What have I got over here? I've been enjoying. So I found this way of doing. When you just want to cast on another project, but you've still got 3 that you haven't finished. And I found this way of scratching the itch without making life more complicated.
Okay.
So I'm actually being good at doing my swatch blocks. And I've
Oh.
got my little cards, and I've been doing, oops, can I get that into the camera?
Oh,
So
Lizzie,
I've
I
been
love it.
knitting something up and then stick it
Oh,
on and then write down what I've done. There's one with a little bit of colour work. What else have I got here? This is quite fun. Oh, this is quite fun. So this is one that I've done. Hold on, I'm getting
Oh,
all in a
I think you
pickle
need to
now.
audition for Game of Wool.
Do you think? Oh dear, no,
Well,
what I know from
the
behind the
designer
scenes.
in you is perfect.
So this one is the same yarn, which I've done. Hang on, I'm getting it. It confuses me with
I
all this
know.
mirror
You got to go the
image
other
stuff.
way. That's it.
So I've got all the details
Yeah.
here, and then I did one on a large needle, just a garter stitch, and
Yeah.
then to contrast, I did it on a tinier needle, and it's quite interesting. So it just helps
Yeah.
me scratch the itch a bit and think, because I'm always coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
And obviously my first thing is the sewing and the sewing patterns, but inevitably I come up with ideas. Like I've got various yarns that I just really want to do something with, but I they might be the starting point for designing a whole
Right.
sewing pattern.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of those things brewing as well. So,
What I
but
like about
anyway,
your book there, when you make your samples, there's a beginning and end in a very quick time period. So you also scratch that itch of
exactly,
going, oh, I've done that. Oh, I've done that. And it
exactly.
looks really nice.
Yes.
And I
And
think that's
also,
important to have, isn't it?
yes, and also you've got that you're sort of feeling a bit smug because you're doing
Yes.
the thing that you know that you always ought to before you start a project.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this has
Oh,
been quite a nice little thing. So,
I'd like to
but
look through
it
that.
is interesting.
Yeah.
There's a big massive ball of wool I've got somewhere. Oh, here it is.
I
This
think
one.
we've all got.
Hold on.
Is it the super
I
chunky? Because you could do a
no,
challenge. Here you go. You could do a
it's
challenge coming at you. Oh, there you are. You
um
caught it. Well done. Oh my lord.
so
Nice.
this is actually, you'd like this, Stuart.
It's beautiful.
It's an indigo dye, so it's not quite woad lavenum,
Yeah.
but it's from dear Emma, who is the cloth atelier, and she does a lot of Indian fabric. That's what she's at the big shows doing, all that. But I bought this from her because she used to mainly do this indigo dye,
Oh
like you
wow.
do,
Yeah.
on fleece,
Yeah.
natural fleece from local flocks. And so I was thinking, I'm going to do a beanie. And I'm not just saying that,
Yeah.
but I'm going to make a beanie out of this because it's just so lovely and chunky. But out of that one beanie idea, I've had a whole idea of some patterns that I want to draft and make for sewing. So
Oh
there's a whole outfit
wow.
to come based on this one sort of inspiration starting point. So
Oh, you are
all of it belongs.
so good, so creative. What a lovely way to end. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm now, and
great.
I hope our viewers are now right inspired to get their needles out and to get cracking
Yeah,
on
go
with the
on, viewers.
project. Yeah, let us
Let us
know.
know. Let us know what you're thinking for, if you've got any insights on when the show might be or what the
Indeed.
challenges could
Yeah.
be. Yeah, we loved reading through all your comments last time, didn't we, Stuart?
Oh, it's so nice. Great feedback. And everyone is so geared up for it.
I
Everyone,
know.
some people are coming over from Unpicked to then come and watch Unravelled. And there are just so many crafters out there. So
I
that's one
know.
thing that we keep on celebrating. More crafting on mainstream telly. It's brilliant. It's absolutely
Yes.
brilliant.
And can I just also add, because I noticed there was a comment from Jimmy on the last one, and I just want to say, Jimmy, we love you, and I really love watching the show that you two do together because, I just watch and learn basically. Oh,
Oh,
all
cheers,
right
Lizzie.
then.
And see you on the next one. Cheerio, bye.
Yeah, cheerio.
Bye.
Bye-bye.